Dear Diary, it's the opening day of the championship season, and I think with the transfer business that we've done here at Cardiff, we might be able to go a few better than what we did last season. The squad morale seems a bit better than what it was, getting rid of a few sad sacks, and we've added some young depth to the squad with hopefully a bit more to come. We start away at Huddersfield, who we performed pretty well against last season once I got here, so hopefully we end up in a better spot pre-December than we were in last year. Otherwise, I'll probably be sacked. We also have a Moose Cup game at Sheffield Wednesday, a good chance to try the rotation players against League 1 opposition. Maybe we can go on an FA Cup-like run in that competition too. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 45 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Cardiff City, and coming up today we start off season 5 of The Save, hopefully our first full one in charge here at Cardiff City with our first game in both the Championship away at Huddersfield and also in the Carabao Cup, that one also away as we take on newly relegated Sheffield Wednesday, who were in the Championship last season. So if you're looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But in yesterday's episode we did do a transfer window recap, so we did cover off quite a bit in terms of our squad going into this season in that episode. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Probably a little bit important that you do watch that one at least for a little while, so you do know the players that we did bring in to the first team for this new season. I suppose a quick recap: new goalkeepers, and we've also got Marco Blund up front in place of Keon Atete, who has dropped down to the bench, and as well as that, quite a bit of extra squad depth as well. And we are going to try Robinson at left wing over Jacques for this upcoming season. So it's pretty much a quick recap of what we did go through in yesterday's episode, and that episode does mean that we can just pretty much get straight into previewing this upcoming championship season. We did show you guys the season preview in yesterday's episode. We predicted to finish smack bang mid-table. The board expect us to finish top half, so if we just end up where we are in that season preview, we will just achieve that goal. But hopefully, in terms of my objectives here, I think we can go for automatic promotion, especially with a full season in charge after getting so close to winning that playoff final, after taking Cardiff over when they were just outside the relegation zone at the start of December last season. And we take on Huddersfield in our first game of this new season. Steven Gerrard's team predicted to finish 17th, so in theory this is a winnable game for us on the opening day, albeit it is away from home. In terms of their team, looks fairly similar to what I do remember them being like from last season, likes of Fredericks at right back, former West Ham player there in their team Huddersfield. But it should be a team we can at the very least get some points off on this opening day of the season. And we're pretty close to full strength for this first game, as well as a few players who just have some orange injuries, which does mean they can't make their way onto the bench, albeit a few of them not really in our plans for this season anyway. Alex Patterson, he's a player that we might look at selling before the transfer deadline does close here at the end of the month. Also, Dujon Sterling was a player that we didn't really cover off in yesterday's episode. He is going to be the third choice left back and right back for this upcoming season, albeit if a good bid does come in for him, we might be tempted to get rid of him as well. And also one of our new signings, Davison Servino, he has an orange injury. That does mean our only defensive midfield backup on the bench for this one is Andy Rinamotta, but apart from that, we are at full strength going to this first game of the season. And we'll come back shortly from John Smith Stadium as we take on Huddersfield on the opening day in the Championship. And here are the team sheets for this first game of the Championship season. There are Huddersfield playing their 4-3-3. Interesting to see that Fredericks has actually been dropped down to the bench. Now, we have made one change from what we did show you guys before. Ruben Colwell was coming back from an injury, only recommended for 45 minutes. Because of that, one of our new signings, Aaron Malinas, is going to start in that cam role. But apart from that, it is full strength in terms of our new look starting 11, and hopefully we get off to a good start here away from home. And it's been a top start to the new season here at Cardiff City. We go into half-time at 0-0 with absolutely no highlights. One of the most boring first halves I've seen so far since we have made the jump. Albeit in terms of stats, we look a lot more threatening than Huddersfield, who so far have not had a single shot, but fair to say, not a great first half of football. Not seeing any highlights. Callum Robinson has picked up a yellow card, but for now, I think we might just leave him out there and give these boys a tiny rev up at halftime. Not playing that badly, but certainly needing something to happen in the second half, and hopefully we come away with all 3 points here and have some action in the second half. And a few minutes into the second half, Joe Ralls has just picked up an orange injury, so we might play things safe here early in the season and take him off. Andy Runamota will come on for him. Not his ideal position, but with those injuries we do have in the defensive midfield, he is the only bench option. It's our first sub use, still no highlights, 53 minutes into this one. And only a few minutes off the back of that first substitution, finally something happening in this game. We do have a throw in here, and Galasay tries to make his way down that right-hand side, but unfortunately a bit of a loose touch there, and Huddersfield do get that ball back. They pump it deep, and Urhog Hyde does win that one in the air, and yet again we try and get something going here. Down our right-hand side, nice ball there for Robinson, who makes his way inside the box, squares that nicely for Alan Milonis, and he gets his first goal of the season. Probably butchered his name there. So much excitement for a goal in this game, because so far it has been very, very dull. No highlights at all, but the first highlight, we do put the ball in the back of net, and that makes it 1-0 thanks to a goal from our new Argentinian Cam, formerly of Boca Juniors. Rockets that one into the top left corner from the Robinson assist, and we go 1-0 up, and right off the back of that we do actually have another highlight here. Hopefully we do not concede an immediate equaliser as Huddersfield start to make their way into our half down their left-hand side here through Fox, albeit he plays that one back to his centre-back in O'Connell, and they take their time here, Huddersfield, to try and strike back in this one, but thankfully does look like a bit more is going to happen here in the second half, but fortunate for us there to end up with the ball back. Now Robinson will try a shot there, probably could have tried to square that one back for Marco Blum, but we're starting to get on the front foot, 1-0 up at the hour mark. And with about 25 minutes left in this one, we're going to make our second substitution. Alice Mateju, only going okay today on a 6.4, will bring on one of our new signings, one of our exciting young new signings too, in Uriker Goodmanson. Could be a player who makes that left back spot his own in the first team throughout this season, but we are still 1-0 up. And our next highlight does come at the 69-minute mark. It's a corner in our favour, which the goal scorer Molinas will whip into the mixer. It does go back out to him. He makes his way inside the box, tries to get a shot off. It's cleared away briefly by Huddersfield, but we are still on the attack, albeit McGuinness there can't quite weave his way through that defence with that pass, but we again get a chance to do something here down our right-hand side, but certainly starting to put our foot down in this one, it felt like, until that poor pass from Coventry, but thankfully does quite well to get it back in. Now Robinson, one-on-one situation, buries that one, bottom right corner, some lovely link-up play there from Marco Blum, our new striker, off the back of Coventry, giving the ball away, then winning it back, and from there it was a good finish by Robinson at left wing. Really nice work there from Brun to hold that ball up one touch, set him free, and Robinson just sneaks that one inside the far post, and that will make it 2-0 Cardiff. And while we are here, it might be a good time to make a few more substitutions. With that cushion goal, Curtis Nelson can come on for Mark McGuinness, who's usually a little bit injury prone. We'll also take off Galasay on a 6.8, and one of our new signings, Gordon, formerly of Crystal Palace, can come on for him. And seeing as he probably needs some game time coming back from injury as well, we might bring on Ruben Colwell, and coming off for him will be the goal scorer in Robinson. It does mean we're going to shuffle around our wingers and attacking midfielder just a little bit, but that'll be all our subs used, seeing as that was our last stoppage off the back of grabbing that 2-0 lead. And just entering injury time in this one, not a game of very many highlights, but thankfully we proved to be quite dominant throughout that game, got a few goals in the second half, and Huddersfield didn't really offer anything at all that we did see. So in the end, we pick up a fairly comfortable opening day 2-0 win away from home, and we will definitely take that, because usually in a division like the Championship, any away points are absolute gold dust. It did prove to be the case last season as well. Usually teams get the job done at home unless you're really bad. So hopefully, if we can pick up some decent points away from home as well, we will find ourselves up the right end of the table. But already looks like our team's going to hopefully pick up where we did leave off last season during the regular season anyway, before we did just fail at the last step in that playoff final. But a good opening day win for us there, and that should put us right near the top of the table. It does, albeit with only one game played. Take that table with a massive pinch of salt, but a good opening day win for us there. 2-0 away at Huddersfield. And back in the inbox off the back of that win in our opening day championship clash. And as you can see, a quick injury update. That orange injury to Joe Rell is actually a little bit more serious than I would have thought. He has pulled his hamstring, is going to be out for 11 days to 2 weeks. So definitely won't be involved in this upcoming cup clash against Sheffield Wednesday. Not that it was likely anyway, because we are going to put out our rotation team for that one. And they got off to a pretty good start in League One as well. Did Sheffield Wednesday, picking up a 5-1 win over one of the other relegated teams from the Championship last season in Reading. So definitely a team that, even though they are a division below us, having been in the Championship last season and picked up a win against Reading, which is something that we couldn't do, we do need to respect, but it is a good chance for us to play a rotated team in this Moose/Carabao Cup tie. And we'll come back shortly with the team sheets for that one from Hillsborough. And here are the team sheets for this first round clash in the Carabao Cup. There you can see Sheffield Wednesday. They look fairly similar actually to the team they did have in the Championship last season. So it should be a team who do quite well in League One. There we are, as we mentioned before. It is a full rotation for this game. So hopefully we pick up a win here and make our way through to the second round. The board do expect us to go through to around about the third round in this competition, albeit not one they are too focused on. There's an early chance from a free kick there for Atete, but unfortunately puts that one just wide and still locked up early at 0-0. And 12 minutes into this one, we now go down the other end, this time for a Sheffield Wednesday free kick. They try and put that one far post and pull, put that one on the post, but thankfully he was offside. That was a little bit of a dicey situation as Goodmanson picks up an early yellow card, but at the 15-minute mark, or just shy of it, we are still locked up at 0-0 off the back of one decent free kick chance for each team. And now we get a chance here to play out from the back, off the back of that free kick. And we get the ball out to Gordon there on our right-hand side. Tries to put that one into the mixer, but the Sheffield Wednesday defender will head that one back to the goalkeeper in Lewis. And hopefully this rotation team can gel nicely, because it would give us the chance to give some of our more injury-prone players a decent rest when we do take part in these cup competitions, albeit when the FA Cup does start, we might play a bit more of a serious team at that stage. And Juckelis, nice ball in there for Atete, big chance, but unfortunately that shot was quite weak, and still 0-0 coming up to 20 minutes into this first half. And that is half time in this first round clash in the Carabao Cup. We certainly the better of things in terms of shots on target and possession, but unfortunately did not put the ball in the back of the net. So yet again, still locked up here at 0-0 at halftime. We're going to make some changes as well, because both our wing backs have picked up yellow cards. So Sterling can come on at right back, Mateju at left back, and those two can stop easing off tackles in the second half. And hopefully off the back of yet another rev up, we can grab a goal here in the second half and make our way through to the second round. And bang on the hour mark, no highlights so far in the second half of this one, so I think it's time for us to make a few more substitutions. Two players out there who are struggling. First off, Atete. We will bring Brun on for him off the back of a decent debut. And also Safino, back from his injury. Pedersen can come on for him. And we'll see if we can break through in this last half hour to go through the second round of the Carabao Cup. And only a few minutes off the back of those substitutions, we finally have something happening here in the second half. We try and play a ball out there to Gordon, but unfortunately don't find him. But good work there from Brun. And we do get the ball back, and it's a nice pass there for Brun. Can he put this one away for his first goal for the club? Unfortunately, it's a decent save there from the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. So far, most of the highlights where the players were actually onside have been in our favour, but unfortunately haven't found the back of the net. And then Pedersen this time puts a header over the bar, and still 0-0 for around about 20 minutes left. And at the 69-minute mark, we're going to make our last substitution. Yet again, Ruben Colwell probably needs a little bit of game time in this one. Coming back from his injury, he can come on for Molinas, considering he's probably quite tired at the moment, having played that previous game in the Championship. That's our last sub, and hopefully it helps us grab a winner in these last 20 minutes. And with 15 minutes to go in this one, we have another highlight in the second half, and Sheffield Wednesday try and set someone free down the right-hand side. Not a bad idea, but we get a chance on the counter-attack, and Juckelis forces a decent save there out of the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. It will go out for a corner. We've certainly had our chances in this one, but just haven't been clinical enough with them, unlike in the previous game against Huddersfield, and unfortunately we can't link up with anyone from that corner as Ojo tried to get something going there for Sheffield Wednesday. We deal with it, and 10 minutes left, still 0-0 before this one, I think, goes straight to penalties. And we're inside the last few minutes of this one. There's going to be 4 minutes of added time. We've gone to a positive mindset, tried to do some things that we did do in the latter stages when we were in trouble in the playoffs last season. But this one goes straight to penalties off the back of a 0-0 draw. So it hasn't taken too long for us to find ourselves in this situation. Yet again, we'll come back shortly once I sort out this order and see if we can go through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. And we have finished doing the penalty order for this early season penalty shootout. There it is on the left-hand side, pretty similar to what you do see on the right-hand side. Just one change there in terms of putting Brun ahead of both Rinomhota and Gordon, which is not surprising because his finishing is a bit better than those other two. But for the most part, it does make sense what you do see down the right-hand side mirrored down that left-hand side. And hopefully this time we do the job in a penalty shootout. This time our goalkeeper for this one is going to be the former Arsenal man in Hein instead of Piscine, who we did have in that playoff final at the end of last season. Not actually sure if he found a club off the back of his loan ending as well as his spell at Brentford. But first up for us is Patterson, not the most powerful penalty, but places it well into that bottom right corner. And first up for Sheffield Wednesday is Temain, so we'll see if they can match us early in this one and make it 1-1 as Hein in his bright orange puts that one and nearly actually gets a hand on it, I think, but it went pretty much straight down the middle, and Sheffield Wednesday do put their first penalty away, and Ruben Colwill off the bench will get a chance to keep us in the advantage in this one, and he puts that one away, very similar to the first penalty, and that makes it 2-1 in our favour, albeit Volks could equalise here for Sheffield Wednesday, but Hein comes up with a good save there, so hopefully we've got a decent penalty saver in this team off the back of Piscine's slightly average effort last season. Now, next up for us is Marco Blun, but that gets saved in pretty much the same spot that the Sheffield Wednesday penalty got saved, and hopefully this is not one of those cases where the team who misses the first penalty ends up winning the shootout as Millwood puts that one away, and that makes it 2-2 off the back of 3 penalties from each team. Now, another newcomer for us in Gordon, the former Crystal Palace man. Goalkeeper goes the right way, but thankfully that one still makes his way past him. And next up for Sheffield Wednesday, it is Wallace. Can Hein pull out another big save? You bet he can. That one's a really good one. Outstretched left hand, going for that bottom left corner, Wallace. And he makes the save. And that means that if Rinomhota can put this one away, we sneak our way through to the second round of the Carabao Cup. And based on the highlights that we saw in the game, I feel like that's probably deserved, even though our finishing was not the greatest. But Andy Rinomhota will put that one away. We early season get rid of our penalty demons from that playoff final last year and go through to the second round of the Carabao Cup, albeit not in very convincing fashion through a penalty shootout, but we'll take it. We go through getting the best of Sheffield Wednesday on penalties. So we just do enough there to get past Sheffield Wednesday in the first round of that Carabao Cup, and also looks like we might have a decent penalty saver there in Carl Jakob Hein. Hopefully that does prove to be the case there for our Cup goalkeeper for this upcoming season. And only a day off the back of that, we have had the draw for the second round of this competition. We just skipped through this one pretty quickly because there are still a lot of teams in the hat, and it does look like we've actually got quite a kind draw in this one, taking on a team newly promoted to League 2. They were previously in the National League, and that is AFC Fylde. It is away from home, but considering that is a weaker team than what we did just get past, albeit it was on penalties, hopefully that's a good chance for us to reach the third round and meet the board's objective in that competition, even though, as said earlier, it's probably the least important competition that we do take part in this season here at Cardiff City. But these guys, as I said, did get promoted from the National League last season and did start off with a 3-0 win over Gillingham in the league, and off the back of that beat Grimsby Town 4-0 in the first round of that Carabao Cup. So certainly have been in good form early stages up in League 2, so hopefully their form might just dip a little bit before we take them on, but even still, I'd like to think even with a rotation team, which will probably put out for that one, that is a team that we should be beating as long as those players do perform a little bit better. Otherwise, they might struggle to get much football in the early stages of this season. But that will do it for the first episode, gameplay-wise, of this new season here of FMOE. Our first full one at Cardiff City, hopefully, and the fifth one of this save. A good opening day win, 2-0 away at Huddersfield. And off the back of that, a little bit more scrappily, we go through to the second round of the Carabao Cup after beating Sheffield Wednesday on penalties. If you did enjoy that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. The next time you do see me, which will be tomorrow, we'll probably come back at the end of the month. We might play that game against Fold on camera just because we'll see how long we do get a cup run going in the early stages of this season. And also, we take on Wigan, who have started off the season, it looks like, quite well right prior to deadline day. So it might be 2 games as well as deadline day coming up. I think the plan for deadline day, try and get rid of someone like Patterson. And if that does happen, that Qatari defensive midfielder, the young one that we did look at in yesterday's episode, might be a player that we do go for, even maybe on a loan with mandatory future fee to try and get him to join us here, and that would be a very good late transfer window present for me here at Cardiff City, a player who we could in theory build this team around because he was a player who did look very, very good indeed. So the idea is that we might do a little bit of business on deadline day this time around before we do carry on into the month of September, but we'll probably come back for that as well as those games against Fold and Wigan in tomorrow's episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.